Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. I would like to call the meeting to order and acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Innu, Cree, and Dakota peoples, and in the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. My name is Marla Billinghurst. I will be chairing the panel this afternoon. My panel members today are Mr. Brian Carlin and Ms. Linda McFadden. Representing the assessment department is Ms. Corinne DeRockney. And our administrative personnel this afternoon is Ms. Phoebe Graywood. To the Zoom participants of the hearing, please note you may be placed in the waiting room until your property is called upon. When it is your turn, you will be admitted into the meeting. Kindly follow along on the City of Winnipeg's Board of Revision YouTube channel for the hearing process. Once the host admits you into the hearing, please close or mute your YouTube player. You will then be permitted to speak with respect to your property. Once your hearing has concluded, you can leave the meeting. We will be hearing applications for revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent of it and the City Administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to the Court of King's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony, followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony, followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all of the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the board's decision by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. We will be hearing items 7 and 8 on our docket today. Ms. Graywood, would you please affirm the assessors and the applicant's testimony?
Ms. DeRockney, can you state your full name?
Corinne DeRockney.
Do you affirm the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Mr. Van Bruggen, can you state your full name?
Thank you very much. Wesley Van Bruggen.
Do you affirm the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Thank you.
Mr. Sharples, can you state your full name?
Grayson Sharples.
Do you affirm the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. The first matter we will be hearing on this afternoon's docket is number 7, 80 Paramount Road. Mr. Sharples, Mr. Van Bruggen, you have applied to revise the 2025 realty tax assessment with respect to liability taxation, amount of assessed value, and classification of property. Is this correct?
That is, but we will only be pursuing on the value on the assessed value of the property. So we will get the those documents signed that you sent to withdraw from the other appeals by the end of the day.
Perfect, thank you, because yes, if you are withdrawing those points of appeal, we need that document sent prior to the end of the hearing today.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for clarifying that. Madam Assessor, you may proceed when you are ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair. File number 24-522, rule number 14062876500. The address is 80 Paramount Road. We are defending the assessed value of $3,184,000 for the 2025 roll year, based on the reference date of April 1, 2023. It consists of one building with one story, built in 1974, with the wall height of 22 feet, with a leasable area of 28,682 square feet, and a land to plan area of 4.72. If I may turn your attention to page 8, we provided some map views showing its location. It is situated on the north side of the city, just north of the Inkster Industrial Park, off of Keewatin Street. Exterior photos and aerial views are on page 9 through 11. And interior photos on page 12. You'll find our income workup on page 4. The one premise of 28,682 square feet with a rent of $6.79 per square foot provides a potential rent of $194,751. We reduced that by a vacancy loss of 3.50%, plus expenses at 3%, with the shortfall at $4 per square foot. This gives us the net operating income of $178,282. We've capitalized that at 5.60%, in which generates our capitalized value of $3,183,607, in which we rounded up to our final value of $3,184,000. On page 3 has our rent comparables. They are net rents from the market, in which our model is based off of. We've provided 5 rent comparables with the lease starting in 2017 to 2021. Area range from 20,348 square feet to 32,000 square feet. Wall height range from 19 to 35 feet. An effective year built of 1964 to 2000, and a net rent of $6.24 per square foot to $7.55 per square foot. You'll find our capitalization rates on page 6, in which provides the industrial range of 5.35 at the 20th percentile to 7.30 at the 80th percentile. Our cap rate of 5.60 falls in this range. On page 13 to 16 is the income and expense questionnaire provided to us, advising fully owner occupied. Based on the evidence we provided, we believe that the assessed value of $3,184,000 to be fair and equitable, and ask for it to be confirmed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Van Bruggen, Mr. Sharples, do you have any questions for the assessor regarding her evidence?
I've just got one question. Thank you, Madam Chair. If I could just get everyone to turn to page 6, this is the capitalization rate. So just in looking at this, this third-party market information for industrial B quality properties, would you agree that the assessed capitalization rate of 5.6% falls below the range from these third-party market reports?
It is within our range, and with the market being so robust, we feel that it's the low cap rate is still fair.
Okay, that was my only question. I don't know if Mr. Van Bruggen has any additional.
Sorry, just one quick question. In regards to the sales that you've used to generate the capitalization rate, what time frame were these sales taken from?
Sorry, what was the question about the time frame?
You bet. For the sales that were used to generate the capitalization rates used by the city, what time frame were those from?
Like for each individual comparable that we used?
No, just the sales. So like the sales that went into your capitalization rate model, what time frame does that span? Are you aware?
I'm not fully aware.
Do you know, has any adjustment been made to account for changes within interest rates over the last? Because obviously there's been a fairly significant change in interest rates from 2021 till the valuation date of 2023. Has there been any consideration by the city to account for those changes?
Very good question. All that I am aware of that is we use very recent sales.
Okay, fair enough. Nope, that's completely reasonable. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Before I get to the panel questions, is there any way of turning it up because I'm finding the background noise? Okay, sorry, I was having trouble hearing. Thank you very much. Okay, sorry, Mr. Carlin, do you have any questions for the assessor regarding her evidence?
I do not. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McFadden.
I do not.
Thank you, nor do I. So we can move on to the applicant's evidence. So please proceed when you are ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll begin on page 3 of our submission. I'll just give everyone a couple seconds to get there.
Thank you. What happened to this? Sorry, Steve. Phoebe, where did it go? I'm looking for their evidence and this seems to have. You know, never. Okay. There we go. Okay, page 3.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Has everyone found it? Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So just a brief description of the property. So it's a 28,682 square foot light industrial manufacturing building, and it has an assessed year of construction of 1974. The current assessment is for $3,184,000. We believe that to be too high, and the value we're requesting is for $2,641,000. Moving on to pages 4 through 6, we just have some snippets of the current assessment. The one thing I'll make note of is on page 6, just that assessed capitalization rate of 5.6%. On page 7, we just have a summary of our requested assessment. So the column on the left is the current assessment. The column on the right is our request. We're not requesting any changes to the rental rate, vacancy rate, or any of those income parameters. We're just requesting a capitalization rate of 6.75%. And so from that, we arrive at our requested assessment of $2,641,000. On page 8, we just have the assessment map and satellite map, and a few photos of the subject property on page 9. Page 10 is where we get into our evaluation. And so the first thing we looked at here is, in talking with the owners, they let us know that the roof of the building needs to be replaced, and the estimate for the repair comes in at just over $700,000. So I'll actually jump. We have the quote in the appendix. It's on page 28. And so this quote is from Northwestern Roofing. It was June 8th, 2022. They estimate the cost of work to be just over $670,000. And then with GST, the total estimate for this is $705,000. And then so jumping back to page 10, and then pages 10 through 15, we just have what was sent in the roof report by Northwestern Roofing to the owners. So these are just a bunch of pictures of what the issues are with the roof and what will need to be fixed. And so our value request is not based off the cost to replace the roof. However, if someone were to purchase this building, they would have to take into consideration the cost to repair the roof. And so we believe this would have an impact on building value. Page 16, we've taken a look at sales. So the property's been assessed at a value of $111 per square foot, which based on the sales we've identified here appears to be too high. So from these comparable sales, they range from about $61.50 per square foot to $114.50 per square foot. And that gets us an average of about $95 per square foot. So based on this, we think that value should be closer to $94 per square foot. Our requested value of $2,641,000 equates to $92.09 a square foot, which does align closely with these sales. And we believe, although it is a bit lower than some of these, that it does take into consideration the cost to repair the roof. And we believe our best comparable sale here, just based on the land area, year of construction, building area, is that second one at 565 Monroe, which actually sold for the lowest amount at $61.54 per square foot. Pages 17 through 20 are street view photos of the comparable properties that we've used in our analysis. And then beginning on page 21, we take a look at the capitalization rate. So again, the assessed cap rate for this year is 5.6%, which is actually a decrease from the previous cycle where the assessed cap rate was 6.45%. So fairly significant decrease year over year. And in looking at the sales that we had identified in the previous section, we've used the assessed rental rate of $6.79 per square foot, and then typical vacancy rates, expense allowances, and shortfall amounts. These are all taken from the City of Winnipeg guidelines for the valuation of income producing properties. And from this, we've calculated an average cap rate of 6.92%. And these range in the table, they range from cap rates from 5.43% all the way up to 10.44%. So based on this analysis, we're requesting a capitalization rate of 6.75%. On page 22, we have some snippets from some third-party market reports that support this request. So on the left, we have Colliers. So this is from the second quarter of 2023. For Class B industrial properties, they've reported cap rates from 6 to 7%. And we see in the prediction side there that they have these as unchanged. And then CBRE on the right side, again, B quality industrial properties, they're reporting cap rates from 6.5 to 7.5%. So again, the assessed rate of 5.6% is below what is being reported by third-party providers. And the requested rate of 6.75% falls within this range from Colliers and CBRE. On page 23, we have a chart. This is nationwide cap rates, chart from Altus Group. So again, mentioned that the assessed capitalization rate has decreased year over year. And based on this chart below, they've been increasing. So single tenant industrial, hopefully you guys all have this chart in color, but it's the black line is the single tenant industrial. And it's been increasing steadily since the first quarter of 2022. And again, these are nationwide capitalization rates, but this shows that capitalization rates are increasing. And so the decrease year over year in the assessed capitalization rate appears unjustified to us. And so just to summarize this all on page 24 again, we have no issues with any of the income parameters used, rental rate, vacancy, expense allowance, we're just requesting an increase to the capitalization rate from 5.6% to 6.75%. We believe this was supported by market sales and third-party market data. And from this, we get our requested assessed value of $2,641,000. And then after this, we just have our supporting documentation. So we have our notice of hearing. We have the third-party market reports included in the appendix, that quote for the roof repair, and then the City of Winnipeg guidelines for income-producing properties. So with that, I conclude the presentation and welcome any questions.
Thank you very much. Madam Assessor, do you have any questions for the applicants regarding their presentation?
I do. Just noticing on your.
Sorry, we can't hear you.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
I had a question in regards to page 21. Just looking at the comparables here. The last one seems to be a bit higher than the subject. But for the majority of them, four out of 7 comparables do support our model, with a cap rate of 5.60. But there are the 2 that are quite high. St. Joseph, the last one, and 565 Monroe, those high cap rates. I was just wondering if their actual net operating income of the property prior to the sale.
No, we don't have access to the actual net operating income, so we try to estimate it as best we can. So that's why we've just used the assessed rental rate for the subject property. The vacancy rate is per the city guidelines based on the area it's in. And then same thing. So because we don't have the actual NOIs, we have to do our best to estimate it.
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Carlin, do you have any questions for the applicants?
No, I don't. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. McFadden?
No, I don't either. Thank you.
Thank you, nor do I. So thank you very much. Does anyone want to summarize?
Thank you.
No, thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. We will move on to the next matter on this afternoon's docket. That is number 8, which is for Chester Street. And again, on this one, you apply to revise liability taxation, amount of assessed value, and classification of property.
Yes, this is the same scenario as the previous one. We will only be appealing the assessment value, and we will be withdrawing the class and liability.
And I believe those documents were sent to the Board of Revision already, so they should be, yeah, you should have them.
Perfect. Thank you very much. All right, then we can proceed. Sorry, Madam Assessor, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair. File number 24-524, roll number 14093886500, address is 4 Chester Street. We are defending the assessed value of $2,214,000 for the 2025 roll year based on the reference date of April 1, 2023. It consists of 2 buildings with 1 story. Actual year built of 1972 to 2000. This is in regards to the 2 buildings built at different times. The first building built in 1972 and the second one built in 2000. We have an effective year built of 1986. They both have a wall height of 18 feet with a total leasable area of 28,890 square feet and a land to plan area of 3.64. On our page 2 provides a subject sale history, including a sale price of $2 million in 2016. This sale was an arm's length open market transaction. If I may turn your attention to page 8, we provide a map view showing its location. It is situated north of the Mission Industrial Area off of Nairn Avenue. Exterior photos are provided on page 9 through 12. On page 9 shows the below grade loading bay and a closer view on page 12. You will find our income workup on page 4. The one premise of 28,890 square feet with a rent of $5.34 per square foot provides a potential rent of $154,273. We reduced that by a vacancy loss of 3% plus expenses at 3% with the shortfall at $4 per square foot. This gives us the net operating income of $141,689, and we've capitalized that at 6.40%, in which generates our capitalized value of $2,213,891, in which we round up to our final value of $2,214,000. On page 3 has our rent comparables. They are net rents from the market in which our model is based off of. We provided 7 rent comparables with the lease starting in 2016 to 2020. Area ranged from 23,792 square feet to 35,870 square feet, with the wall height range from 10 to 19 feet. An effective year built of 1958 to 1982, and a net rent of $5 per square foot to $9.32 per square foot. You'll find our capitalization rates on page 6, in which provides the industrial range of 5.35 at the 20th percentile to 7.30 at the 80th percentile. Our cap rate of 6.40 falls in this range. On page 12 to 13 is the income and expense questionnaire provided to us, advising fully owner occupied. Based on the evidence we provided, we believe that the assessed value of $2,214,000 to be fair and equitable, and ask for it to be confirmed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do either of the applicants have any questions for the assessor regarding her evidence?
I have none, Madam Chair.
Mr. Van Bruggen?
I think the only question I would have would be, again, in regards to the sales that were used to calculate the capitalization rate and if an adjustment has been made for interest rates.
No, not that I'm aware of.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Carlin, do you have any questions for the assessor?
Nope, no questions from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McFadden.
I have no questions.
Neither do I. So the applicants can please proceed when they are ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll again begin on page 3 and just give everyone a couple seconds to get there.
Has everyone got it?
Okay, thank you. So yeah, again, just a brief description. So the property is a 28,890 square foot light industrial manufacturing building. It has an assessed year built of 1986. That was just the year of construction we got on the assessment breakdown. Again, as noted, I guess that's between 2 buildings that had the 2 different year of constructions. But the current assessment amount is $2,214,000. We believe that to be too high and are requesting this is reduced to $2,024,000. And then once again, pages 4 through 6, we have snippets of the assessment breakdown. And on page 7, we just have a summary of our request. So again, the column on the left is the current assessment. The column on the right is our requested. We are requesting that the capitalization rate be increased from 6.4% to 7%. We have no issues with any of the other income parameters once again. So holding those constant and changing the cap rate, we get our requested assessment value of $2,024,000. Page 8, we again just have the assessment map and the satellite map of the property. And then some photos on page 9. Our valuation begins on page 10. So again, we've taken a look at the sales, and the current assessment equates to a value of $76.64 a square foot. The sales we've identified range from $61.50 up to about $72. This gets us an average sale price per square foot of about $69.50 per square foot and a median of just under $71 a square foot. So based on this, we believe the value should be closer to $70 a square foot, and our requested value of $2,024,000 equates to $70.06, which aligns very closely with these sales. And again, as was the case with the previous property, we believe that 565 Monroe is the closest comparable. This is just based off the land area, year built, and building size. And again, this property was purchased for $61.54 a square foot. On pages 11, 12, and 13, we just have more photos of these comparable properties. And then starting on page 14, we take a look at the capitalization rate again. So again, for this assessment cycle, the cap rate is 6.4%. This is again a decrease from 6.65% the previous cycle. And again, using the same methodology, we've taken a look at the sales, used the assessed rental rate, and then the guidelines to determine vacancy rate, expense allowance, and operating costs. So we've done this to do the best we can to estimate the NOI and calculate a new cap rate. So in looking at these, this ranges from about 6.75% to 8.19% for an average of 7.19% and median of 7.08%. And so in looking at this, we are requesting that the capitalization rate be increased to 7%. And once again, on page 15, taking a look at the third-party market reports. So there is support for a capitalization rate of 7%. We got Colliers on the left here, reporting cap rates from 6 to 7%. CBRE on the right, reporting rates from 6.5 to 7%. So again, these market reports do support a capitalization rate of 7%. And then page 16, we have the same chart from Altus. So again, the assessed cap rate has decreased year over year from 6.65 to 6.40%. Based on this chart from Altus, we see that these rates should be increasing, and they have been increasing since the first quarter of 2022. And so we just believe that the decrease in assessed capitalization rate year over year is unjustified. Page 17, once again, just summarizes our request. So we're just requesting that the capitalization rate be increased from 6.4% to 7%. And with that, we get a new value of $2,024,000. And once again, the following pages, we just have the notice of hearing, market reports, and City of Winnipeg guidelines. And with that, I conclude the presentation and welcome any questions.
Thank you very much. Madam Assessor, do you have any questions for the applicants?
I did have basically the same one regarding the your comparables for capitalization rates on your page 14 regarding them being actual net income of the property. but I believe you had explained it was. an
Yeah,
estimate.
yeah, it would be the same answer. We're doing the best we can to estimate it since we don't know the actual NOI.
For sure. And then I was comparing the two properties for those two addresses. Because there's a different NOI and cap rate. Should they not be the same?
Yeah, it's a fair question. I guess they could be. We just kept it in our analysis. We used the rental rate of the subject property, the assessed rental rate, without knowing what the actuals were. I guess we could have used the same rate for either, but yeah, this is just how we did it without knowing the actual financial information.
Thank you. That's all.
Thank you very much. Mr. Carlin, do you have any questions for the applicants?
No, I do not. Thank you.
Ms. McFadden, do you have any questions for the applicants?
No, I don't.
Thank you. Neither do I. So is there a need for a summary from either party?
No, thank you, Madam Chair.
No, thank you, Madam Chair.
Hey, well, that brings us to the end of the docket this afternoon. So, great. I'm just checking, yeah, okay, we have heard all the items scheduled for today, and this hearing is now adjourned. Thank you very much, and I hope everyone has a lovely rest of their day.